say when I first posted Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus, that was definitely one of the bigger videos when I first started. And then I kind of just found that I was getting a lot of subscriber notifications and comments and requests for different songs. And it kind of got to the point where it was a weekly thing, and you know, I was just doing things for the fans. I was just posting, you know, songs that they wanted to hear, and I would even sometimes say like, oh, so and so requested this, or if it was a handful of people, I'd be like, oh, this person, all requested, you know, Party in the USA, whatever it was, and then just kind of grew from there. Weirdly enough, I barely got any practice time in for a cover. Like on purpose almost. You know, I would say I want to do a song, I would listen to it. I remember specifically, for instance, E.T. by Katy Perry. I remember lots of requests for it, obviously. So I was like, I know I'm going to do it. Listen to the song a couple times to kind of like get it down for the most part. I don't really like learning a song to the fullest, because then I start singing it like the artist, and I hate that. So I like to get the gist of it, and I always keep my lyrics like, I don't really do it as much anymore, but I kept my lyrics on like my iPod Touch or something, so I would have it as a guideline. But sometimes, that's why I would never fully learn a song, because E.T., I remember specifically, I was, you know, you learn it, and then you just record and play a bunch of takes, and whichever one I like the best, like that's the one I would go with. So yeah, it's kind of the formula to it. It's because I grew up writing my own music. That was what was able to, you know, help me cover songs in a certain way. So, you know, for example, one of my favorite examples to use of a cover would be Do I Want to Know by the Arctic Monkeys. I covered that, and it just popped into my head one day, and I was like, I know exactly how I want to do this on piano. I know exactly the chords I want to use. I know exactly the tone of voice I want to use, and it's like one of my most popular covers now. So that's, you know, I like to transform songs in a way that sounds like I wrote it, basically. It wasn't until I started listening to good old Christina Aguilera. I got into her when I was 16, 17. And I just remember thinking, I want to hit big notes like that. I've been singing my whole life, and I never really thought about, you know, being an extraordinary singer. I was just like, I just want to be a singer. So that kind of changed everything, and I was just practicing my range all the time, and, you know, my pitch especially, and runs. And it got to the point where I thought I was, you know, pretty good, and then I finally went to see a voice teacher, because I had never been before. And I remember, he's still my voice teacher to this day, and I remember after our first lesson, he goes, so you're definitely singing wrong, and you're gonna have to relearn the way that you sing, because you're never gonna make it the way you're doing it. I was angry, I was upset. I like went home, like, because I recorded the session, so I was listening to it over and over, trying to figure out like, what do I have to do, you know, trying to harness that technique. And before you know it, I was just practicing all the time. I was like, I gotta be able to sing high, I gotta be able to, you know, strengthen my voice for the tours and, you know, all the singing. I was like, I don't want to lose my voice, that's not why I'm in this. So I just practiced a lot on technique. Yes, I love them so much. I mean, I grew up with them, you know, so that was cool. One of my very first viral videos ever was Just a Dream, the cover I did with Sam and Kurt. They're like brothers to me. I love them. I actually saw Kurt recently. But yeah, my relationship with just YouTubers in general is like, you know, pretty awesome, because we all know where we came from. Like Megan and Liz, throwing them out there because their album just came out, and I like totally, I jumped on it. I was like, support these guys. They've been supporting me too, and they're just, you know, the YouTube community, we're always gonna be buds. I couldn't fathom it at the time, to be honest. I didn't realize how cool it was until like, I think I got a little older, and then I started to think about how hard the industry is to like break into, and the fact that I had come out first, you know, from Justin Bieber, Rihanna, Selena, all that stuff. I was like, that is pretty cool. And honestly, I had zero to do with it. It was literally all fan votes. So the power of Team Grimmie was so there. It was awesome, and I'm so blessed by every single one of them. So obviously, starting from just the camera with no microphone, everything like that, you know, you kind of realize, you know, as you grow up, what, especially me, like what I had was so special just in my fans. Like, they truly believed in me. They're like, Christina, you don't even need a mic. You don't need blah, blah, blah for us to keep following you and stuff. So that was always really encouraging to me. I will say the Tayo Cruz thing was really cool. That was my first almost big deal sight. Like I was on the red carpet for the first time. I was on, did the interviews on the red carpet for the first time. And singing with Tayo Cruz, I was just like, he's the most chill guy I've ever met. Like, you meet him and he's just like, hi sweetheart, how are you? And apparently I was told by his manager, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but I'm gonna, Tayo's very quiet, like, and he's very like, I don't know if the word is introverted in this case, but so basically I was being told like, oh, you know, he's not really gonna be crazy on stage with you, he's just gonna like sing with you, and you know, and I was like, oh, that's totally fine, whatever he wants to do. But apparently, I guess he took a liking to me, and on stage, we just like got along so well. He put his arm around me, stuff like that, and I was like, wow. The Voice kind of was almost a last-minute decision, but I had thought long and hard about the fact that I was like, I'm not saying I've done the craziest things in the world, but I've done a lot of things. You know, I toured with Selena Gomez twice. I had won that YouTube contest. I had been performing every which way. I had went to every label possible, and they all knew of me, and I still wasn't getting signed. I was like, what else am I gonna do? I was like, of course I could keep releasing music, that's fine, but at some point, you know, I gotta budget myself. Like, I'm not like an endless supply of money. Like, that's hard. Being independent is very, very hard and stressful and very discouraging sometimes. So I was like, what can I do to maybe, you know, amp this up a little bit, you know, and what else can I do? And I've always loved the idea of The Voice. And I was like, what if, like, I just try it out, you know, see what would happen. And yeah, it worked out for me a lot. I'm so happy I did that. I grew so much. I learned a lot about myself as an artist, as a person. And I would never take that back. Like, it was the greatest thing. I tell people I would do it again. Like, if I could erase, like, that part of my past and redo it, I would. Like, it was so cool. I feel as if I put myself even on a different level by the time I was done the show. It was kind of like the most stress I think I've ever been under in my entire life, ever. And yet, it was, I don't mean that even in a negative way. I just mean there were points where you're kind of losing your voice, or you're sick and you're, you know, tired. Sometimes you get 2 hours of sleep and then you have a full press day, come back at 12 a.m., go to sleep, wake up at 6 a.m., shoot a commercial, do da-da-da. And it was just like, you know, you have to learn all your stuff. You have to, you know, practice with your coach, and also take care of yourself. There were so many things that went into it, not even really stage singing related, that you have to think about. So in that way, I feel like a lot of willpower was gained on that show, for sure. Proved to myself that I was good under pressure. I can perform under pressure now, which is, you know, something that I really discovered on that show. Because if you can imagine live TV, you can't, I mean, I'm from YouTube, okay? So I can redo anything I want, you know, after I'm filming it in my room. But when you're on stage, on national television, and it's live, you don't have the option of doing more takes or reading lyrics. Like, you don't get that. It's all from just the practice and the memory. So that I definitely learned on that show. It was awesome. That's like what you see on the show is actually what you get, which is interesting. And, you know, I would just ask him like little bits of advice just about random stuff, like, you know, how do you know, remember all your lyrics, or how do you know, perform under X amount of pressure? You know, I was asking all of this after my blind audition, you know. I was like, just teach me what you know. And he's like, you know, he kind of told me that pretending that you're confident will actually make you confident. And I was like, interesting. So basically, you got to write out, the producers of The Voice or whatever were like, if you make it to the top 3, you get to sing with like a celebrity artist or whatever. And they're like, just write your top 3 or top 4, who you would want us to reach out to. And I was like, oh my gosh, of course. I put Christina Aguilera, Ellie Goulding, whatever. I put Ed Sheeran too. So they told me, okay, so it was like the night of the eliminations, right? And during this night, I actually landed in the bottom 3. And this was like when it was about to go with the top 3. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in the bottom 3, holy crap. And so the night before this, they sent me the Ed Sheeran song that I would be singing with him that night, like the night of the elimination. So they're like, just learn this, make sure you know it. 12 a.m. they sent that to me. I'm like, okay, so I was barely knew the song, right? And so the night of the eliminations, I was like, okay, if I don't make it and I get sent home, I don't sing with Ed Sheeran. And then if I do make it, I have to sing with Ed. Like I had to sing with Ed that night, like right after the eliminations, right when that was over. You know, I had to get into a different outfit, go rehearse with Ed, and then go out and perform it because Ed had to, do it that night. So, man, it was just like a crazy rush of like, okay, I barely know the song, I just learned it. Oh crap! Like, oh wow, I'm in the top 3 now. Now I gotta go hurry up and like perform this song with Ed Sheeran. Like, it was just a crazy night. It's like once you meet enough people telling you like you've changed my life and I'm learning piano because of you, or I'm singing, like that just gives you this drive that I really can't explain, and it's like that just makes you want to keep doing it and never stop doing it. And obviously I would like to become crazy successful, but I mean, doesn't everybody? But it's like it's not it's not going to upset me to the fullest if all I do is kind of what I'm doing right now, because I'm still meeting the fans. It's all I care about. I'm still singing for them, and touring is probably the most important. I think just meeting them, and interacting is cool. As far as putting yourself out there, I think YouTube is a great way to do that. I mean, that's how I started, and it's free marketing, so do your thing. But I always tell people to just not, just be unique. Don't feel like you need to look like a celebrity or you need to dress a certain way. I feel like the more you that is in the video, obviously the more unique it's going to be, and the more people are going to want to see you, not see, oh, this person reminds me of blah, blah, blah. So I think it's just originality is really important. Get the lessons and go through all the hardships that I was going through with my voice. Like I was like, I'm not even a good singer. I have to relearn the way that I sing. But I mean, that discouraged me more than you could possibly imagine. But here I am today. My voice is, a lot bigger than I ever thought it was gonna, because of the practice and the, just the experience. And vocals aside, piano, music in general, developing your ear, whatever it may be. I think that practice is key, and not only practice, but just endurance. I think that it's so hard to make it these days, and everyone's so obsessed with making it. I think the goal should just be inspiring people. You need to kind of readjust, your goals and what your priorities really are.